Hi friends, strangers, internet. Welcome to the very first episode edition video of Grinchmas 2020. I am starting December with big dreams, big goals, and that is to have a new video up or a new live stream up every day, at least through Christmas. We're gonna see how it goes. We have some fun collaborations planned. So it's beginning to look a lot like Grinchmas, and I hope that y'all will be here for the fun, silly content, videos, live streams, all of it. And I hope you're excited because, like I said, we have some fun stuff coming. So I wanted to start off Grinchmas with me in my ripest form. So today we are talking about palettes I don't regret not buying, but I did want them. That is the theme for today, and I believe every palette that I picked was released in this year. So we have a juicy little list, and if you don't know, if you're new here, my name is Emily Hanhan. I have lots of opinions about makeup, and I really like colorful makeup and just talking about things. If you enjoy that, if you like cute fat babes in general, you should go ahead and subscribe. If you are also new around these parts, I have a love affair with single eyeshadows, but eyeshadow palettes still tempt me in surprising ways. So I want to talk through a bunch of palettes that I wanted, like really wanted, or maybe only kind of wanted, but some of them I really wanted, but I don't regret not buying them in the end. First off, we are starting with maybe a controversial one, a palette that I'm really glad I didn't buy, actually a pair of palettes. This is the only mention that is actually pre-2020, but I talked a whole lot about it, and that is the Melt Amore Eternal collection. I think that was the first collection by any brand where I would have bought the entire package, all of the items, because the design, everything about it was just beautiful, gorgeous, like flawless. I didn't buy it mostly because of monetary reasons, but looking back, I am really glad I did not buy it because I basically wanted half of each palette, and I've talked about this before. I really wanted the greens in Vida and the blues in Muerte, and spending over $100 to create my own perfect palette. Why would we do that? Why? Also, I saw reviews that were as kind as they could be, but the performance didn't really seem to be up to par. And that goes along with a long theme of my feelings towards Melt, is that they are inconsistent as all hell, and I feel weird about supporting brands that are that inconsistent. So don't regret not buying the Melt Amore Eternal collection. Okay, now the next one up, maybe kind of in chronological order, that tempted me was the ABH Amreezy palette. I know, I feel like it was one of the first like skinny palettes they've done in a long time that did things, and it's because two reasons. There was a blue, which is a pop of color, which draws me in. Actually, probably 3 reasons. There was like 2 pinks and a blue, but one pink in particular, Barb looked gorgeous, stunning, beautiful, like pink with like greeny yellow shifts, kind of more like, I would say gold, but a little green to it. Even the packaging, there's something about the Barbie dream girl in me that like I was tempted by. I'm very, very glad I did not buy it in the long run, because that's the joy of single eyeshadows, is that I have those pinky sparkly green shadows. Like, I have at least 6 or 7 different options in that range, because I have swatched them all to try to offer up other people options when they're only drawn to Barb. I have them aplenty. And there's something really tricky about when a mainstream brand does things that remind me of indies, that it makes me want them, but I'm glad that I usually wait. And well, that kind of goes into another palette that I went on a roller coaster ride with this. The Pat McGrath Labs Divine Rose 2 palette. I know I've had multi-chromes from before Pat's palette came out. I have indie shadows that I think perform just as good or better than her special shadows. But that palette, I actually, yeah, I went on a roller coaster ride. When it was first launched, I was like, I have these colors, I'm good. I duped the vibes. I did all of that. I was like, whatever, $125, no thank you, Pat. Then I saw the chrome pink packaging, and I saw it actually swatched out, and the other colors in the palette actually swatched out, and I was like, oh, but it looks pretty. It does. I was so close. Like, I probably had the money at the time. I did, but I either missed the chrome pink, or I wanted, you know what, I know how I am. I wanted to get it from Sephora, because if I didn't like it, return policies. And of course, special edition packaging is not going to come to Sephora. So, but in the long run, I am glad I did not buy it, because I have the colors. And it's not just about the colors. To me, it's also about a monetary investment. And the one palette I have from Pat that I still have, because I bought one and I ended up depotting it and then getting rid of most of the shadows, if I'm being honest. The other one that I have, I don't actually reach for that much. So yes, it would be a beautiful present. I would not turn down this palette from a doorstep. But I am glad that I decided to like hold strong, because I also realized that even the multi-chrome that I was like so excited by, it's not even my favorite multi-chrome. So I think that's really the big reason why I don't regret not getting it, is because I have multi-chromes and I have some in a similar family as hers, and they're not even my favorite to put on my face. So glad I didn't spend that money. But we're just gonna keep going in like a multi-chrome discussion. Let's talk about the Natasha Nona Triochrome palette. Again, this one could, I saw the green, I saw the purple, I saw the colors related to it, and I was like, Natasha, are we doing this? Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Like, are we? Is it gonna be a thing? And so I wanted it. Packaging, I think, is beautiful. I like the idea of the 3 color families and kind of having 3 quints put together. And I was like, okay, a mainstream brand doing multi-chromes, and they did more than one multi-chrome in the palette. I might do this. Natasha's palettes are also magnetic, so you can pop them out, you can rearrange, you can use them like single shadows, which has a dear place in my heart. And then I started really looking at the other colors in the palette, and I started realizing that, no, you know what? I'm good. Because they're all mattes. It's 3 multi-chromes and then 12 mattes. And as somebody that literally has an all shimmer eye look on right now, that's not my favorite place to be. I am like, I mean, yes, I love a good matte formula. I love finding the ones that I really like. But shimmers are where I will continue to buy and buy and buy, and where I really can dupe myself out. So I'm glad I didn't indulge, because the reality of it is that it would have been for 3 shadows. Because yes, I have one of her palettes, her matte formula. I know she has different matte formulas. They are nice to me, in my opinion, but I don't need to spend $130 to get a bunch of mattes and 3, well, this is another reason why I don't regret it. I slipped up and called them duochromes. The purple one looks pretty much like a duochrome. The green one and then that one that reminds me of the kind of Sextraterrestrial color from Pat McGrath look more triochromatic, but in the long run, I'm good, Natasha. Okay, let's talk about collab palettes. The first one that got me for like a split second, that Elf and J Kissa palette. There is something really, really tempting about finally finding a kind of drugstore brand whose eyeshadows I really like. Like, really tempting, because I hate just being somebody that only really has like indie and higher end recommendations. But I kept looking at the palette and I realized like the 2 rows of mattes in my opinion were incredibly tonally similar. And while, you know, profits went towards a dog rescue, it was only $20, it was still $20, and $20 can get me a lot more interesting things or fun things or all of that. And once I started seeing reviews, and once I started actually seeing people play with the palette on the eyes, my kind of suspicions I felt were confirmed. And yeah, it's just I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't fall for that trap. The next one kind of is a little bit of a cheat, because it's not actually one that I wanted. I'm just glad I didn't get the Raw Beauty Kristi and Pure collaboration. Now, I think part of me in my little like lizard brain was like, you should get it because you're a YouTuber, review it. But the rest of me was just like, again, the amount of mattes to shimmers, the half neutral side, like there is literally 8, maybe 7 colors in there that I would probably have used. Okay, maybe half the palette, because I might have dipped into that yellow in the neutral side. But it's so tempting to see, is this actually a good collab? Is this 2-sided format like really nice? Because that drew me in. Packaging looked really nice. Are these, you know, like, are these colors, is this quality actually going to be worth it from Pure? I'm glad I didn't get it, because again, I wouldn't be using it. I truly wouldn't be using it. I would have done one video with it and probably never touched it again. And I am just not in that wealth category to be able to do that. I mean, I think y'all knew, like, that's not a palette for me. But then she did the Colourpop palette. Greens and yellows. I am a sucker. And that collection actually felt more Kristi. But I know I had those colors and I was just like, okay, you can applaud somebody for doing like a collaboration that looks like them and is actually interesting, and you can, you know, applaud a brand for doing something actually interesting. And this is probably the most interesting Colourpop release of the year. But you can also not buy the product. So I did want it, and that yellow eyeliner for the waterline. But again, I think that there is something very tempting about getting things because they're new and they're shiny and you can talk about them and you can review and like, is it any good? Will it change my opinion on Colourpop? Because my opinion is very negative. And then realize that like, yeah, you don't actually need to do all that because it's not going to make much of a difference. So, and I'm going to admit that I don't really watch Christy anymore. I don't really watch her anymore. So, I know that that's probably like a cancelable offense. I don't know. The click. I had clicked with her content for a while, and then we unclicked. I don't know. Okay, another collab that had me. Tiny Marvels, Mel Thompson and Sydney Grace. I'm not a bug person, but I saw that outer packaging and I was like, what are we doing here? What's going on? Ooh, because when I think of like Beatles, I think of like the way that they shift and the weird kind of colors. And then it was revealed, and it is pretty, and like there are certain colors that just almost had me, like the green, the purple, the duochrome, like I call it like a red brown. There was some pretty shades in there. And here's the thing, is that I know Sydney Grace quality is top notch. And Mel, I really like her. I like the videos she makes. She seems like a cool chick. I mean, probably cooler than I could ever be. I don't know why that's relevant. But it's interesting to think about, like, okay, are you buying this for the person or for the actual makeup? And so that was a good reality check that I can support a person without buying their collaboration. And it seems like it's a really pretty palette that performs well. But it's, again, another eyeshadow palette that I would reach for a couple of special shades. And after a while, I just don't reach for those palettes. I reach for my singles if there's a certain special shade, even if it's a specific matte color. And I felt like the more I looked at the colors, the more it didn't kind of make sense for me. I wanted fewer like pops of color and more of I didn't see the color story, I guess, is where it came down to when it came to the pops of color. With the neutrally tones and the corally tones, I saw it, but then the pops are what drew me in, but they didn't actually make a total amount of sense in my brain. One of the last collabs on my list is another one that I'm like, even a year ago, I feel like I would have bought almost instantly, and that is the Niki Tutorials and Beauty Bay palette. Me of a year ago, I would have been like, that packaging is hot fire. I like the two-sided mirror with one with one at 2x magnification and the other one, you know, at regular. The shimmers look so spectacular. There are bright mattes. But the thing that I keep doing, that I keep trying to do, is just to like take a moment and actually look at things, look at swatches, and then look at reviews. So this one really got me for a while because I was like, I've never tried anything from Beauty Bay. I wonder if it's good. I wonder, it's Niki. Like it, and my brain is still trained with Niki, where it's like, it's Niki, it has to be good. But the reason why I'm very glad I did not end up buying it is because I knew this, but my opinion on Niki has changed over the years, and I don't necessarily agree with the idea that something has to be good for it to work for her. And also, I heard reviews, people talking about, like, the general consensus is the shimmers are amazing, the mattes are trash. Not everyone says the mattes are trash, but if I want good shimmers, I have them. I have them at abundance. And I'm tired of brands getting away with like half good, half trash palettes. And I'm very much team don't give brands money just because they did half their job. Another one that I forgot was even a collab. That gigantic colorful beauty by BPerfect and Stacey Marie. That palette, it's the third of their the third palette they've done in collaboration. I've said this in other videos. If you give me an acid green, a lime green, yellowy tones, I struggle to turn away. The amount of times that I looked at that palette and thought, I want to buy it to depot it and get a bunch of singles. I want to buy it to depot it and get a bunch of singles. I wanted the greens. And while I have a ton of purples, the purples look really pretty. And there are shimmers and mattes in there. And that makes me really excited. And it's truly like a beautiful palette. But I have bought a couple of palettes in the last 6 months where I was like, I'm going to buy these to depot them and turn them into singles. And I still haven't done it because I'm a procrastinator and life has actually been kind of busy, or depression has been kicking my ass, or a mix of the two. So I am very, very, very glad that I stepped away and I was like, bitch, get your shit together. You do not need that palette. It was just, is it just me? That palette is gorgeous. It looks really pretty and the reviews have been pretty good from what I've seen, although I've stopped watching reviews. Oh, little tip, if you're trying to resist buying something, don't watch the reviews. I know that's maybe an obvious tip, but I had to keep reminding myself of that. Speaking of that, that's another one that I had to keep not watching reviews of, although by now I've gotten over it and I'm fine. That actually perfect timing because these are coming back. BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop palettes. They came out with 8 pan palettes, all monochromatic. They sold really, really quickly, and BH was like, oh, they're limited edition, they're not coming back. So there was a green one. Of course I wanted the green one. Theoretically I wanted it because it was green. And then when it sold out, because it was, I think, the first to sell out, I was like, well, I mean, I didn't get the green one, but maybe I'll pick up a different one because everyone's giving them good reviews. And then if I like the other one, then if the green ever comes back, I'll buy the green one. Because like the theme got me, the pan impressions got me, everything about it got me, the monochromatic nature of it got me. And I think the fact that they sold out is what really helped my brain. Like, rather than my brain going into obsessive mode or like upset, like why did I miss them, it really let me just like switch the flip and move on. And even now, supposedly BH is bringing them back in like the middle of December or beginning of December. I'm good. It's so interesting to just, I think this is what a lot of this has taught me, is that like, if I just step back and give it a moment, a lot of times, particularly with palettes, my brain just moves on. It just goes on, moves on to a new thing, and we're good. That doesn't always happen, but it's interesting how like, if I give myself that space, a lot of times palettes will move out of my brain. It's not always the same for single eyeshadows or highlighters or lipsticks or things like that, but palettes, yeah. One quick like one to end it, the Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette. I was like, it's such a cool packaging. I know Urban Decay palettes come apart really easily. I could use it as an empty magnetic palette and then have like pretty shimmery single shadows and blah blah blah, and like I'll wait for it to go on sale because like I don't know if it's that special for. And then the Adept Cosmetics Plain Jane palette came out, and then Stone Vibes just poof vanished from my mind. I think that is my full list of the palettes that have come out this year that I have high key wanted, and then just stopped wanting them. And I am so happy that I did not buy them. And as a person that has bought a lot of makeup this year, that's saying a lot, because like makeup regrets are a real thing, and it's nice to be able to look back and be like, huh, I didn't buy that, and I am actually really happy I didn't buy that, rather than the straight up FOMO that some of us feel, including myself. I felt FOMO about Amore Eterno for probably half of this year, literally half of this year, and then I was like, bitch, you gotta move on. I have lived this long without it. I will be fine. And I even resisted Beetlejuice. So on that note, thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new here and you would like to follow along with all of these colorful shenanigans, to hear more opinions, more makeup looks, more commentary, all kinds of stuff, definitely subscribe and follow me over on Instagram and Twitter at Nomnivorous. Thank you so much to my patrons, to my YouTube members. If you have any desire to check out either of those other ways to support me, I have a bunch of information in the description box. I appreciate everyone though, whether you're just watching, you follow me on all the platforms, whatever you're doing, I appreciate you all so much. I am so excited for the rest of this month to unfold and unfurl, and I hope that you will be a part of the Grinchmas. Thank you again for watching. Hopefully I will see you again real soon, aka tomorrow. Don't forget to take care of yourself. Bye friends.